In today's video, I am going to be ranking every single shotgun that is in Rainbow Six Siege as of Year 9 Season 3. And for the purpose of this video, I am going to be including secondary shotguns as well. They will also feature in the video when I rank every secondary. But with that being said, you guys know the rules. We're going to start off with all of the D tier weapons and slowly make our way up to S tier, where we're going to save the best shotguns in the game till the end of the video. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into D tier and let's rank the worst shotguns in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, the worst shotguns in Rainbow Six Siege for me personally has to be the Italy 12S shotgun. This is a secondary shotgun, so I know it's not supposed to be used for getting kills, but even as a secondary option, if you run out of primary ammo or whatever and you switch to this thing, this is not getting you any kills. This is only good for doing soft wall destruction early on in the round, and I'm going to be completely honest, it's not even that great at doing that. So for that reason, it's going in D tier, and to be completely honest, I think it might be the only shotgun I'm going to leave in D tier for now. So with D tier out the way, let's move on up into C tier, where there is going to be a fair few more weapons. Now, the first one I'm going to put on here is the Super Shorty, because it has a very small magazine count, but with that being said, it does do a lot better when, actually using it against people when compared to this secondary shotgun over here. But obviously, it's not going to have the same magazine count as any of these primary shotguns, and just for the nature of it being an actual weapon, it's not that useful. It's more of a tool rather than a weapon, which is why it's also going to feature in this secondaries only video in a few days. Now, with all the secondary shotguns out the way and going straight on into all of the primaries, in my personal opinion and from my experience, the worst shotgun in the game has to be the 612 and the 612SD, which is the suppressed and non-suppressed versions. Now, both of these weapons, yes, are semi-automatic, so don't quite have the same range as some of the other ones on this list later on in the video, but also doesn't really have the best fire rate either, and the damage output compared with the spread, it just means they are not very good options when it comes to shotguns. On top of this, they are not really available on operators that they're going to need it. The suppressed version, I believe, is only available on Nook, which you're not really going to be running the shotgun on Nook that often anyway. And then I believe this version is only available on Ying and Legion, two operators of which you do not want to be running this weapon on. The T5 SMG is just going to be 10 times better than this thing, and then obviously on Ying, she has a better option as well. But with that being said, is there any more shotguns that deserve the C tier? In my personal opinion, there is, and that one is going to be Ella's shotgun. Now, this one definitely does come close to being a B tier shotgun. This used to be one of the most overpowered shotguns in the game, but I do believe they nerfed the damage or something, or the range of this thing. I mean, other than the fire rate and the fact you could just spam it and it has such a big magazine and it reloads quick. However, with that being said, it is quite good for opening up rotates and stuff like that. But once again, you're not really going to be trying to use that with this thing, because if you're taking this as the primary slot for Ella, then you only have the pistol as her secondary. Now, with C tier out of the way, then the next one I'm going to put up into B tier is going to be the ACS-12 shotgun, and this is a hard one for me to rank personally because I don't use it all that much. I know a lot of people do use it. It's got quite high damage on it, but it's got a very slow fire rate. It's obviously a slug shotgun, the first of its kind in this video, and I'm going to be completely honest, it's not very good from my personal experience. Now, I do know if you hit your shots with this thing, it can two-hit, it can cross-map, but when it comes to shotgun capabilities, it's not very high in terms of what we're looking for. And with that being said, I think the next one we have to talk about has to be the Boss G, and this one's a very meme-heavy weapon. I mean, if you hit your shots, it can be S tier. It's essentially a sniper rifle at that point, but obviously, if you miss your shots, you only get 2 bullets. It deserves D tier. And to settle both ends of the argument here, I'm going to put it in B tier, slap bang in the middle, because it all comes down to whoever has control of this weapon has the potential, or doesn't have the potential, to get the kills that this thing can do. For example, if you're a console player and you're not very skilled with high sensitivity, you're not very good at hitting your shots and stuff like that, it's not going to be as good as someone who is a pro league level PC player who can just flick and insta-kill people with the Boss G. Now, with that being said, I think the other shotguns that deserve to be in B tier has to be the TCS-12 itself, it's kind of like a better version of the ACS, in my opinion anyway. I do think it's better in almost every single use case. I use it a lot more than the ACS 12 as well. It comes equipped on Qaid, who obviously doesn't have the best primary weapon option, so a lot of people do tend to use this. And then obviously Goyo has access to it as well, but I don't really run it on him. And then if we're talking about other weapons that deserve B tier, I think the TCSG has to be in here as well. I mean, it's not very high damage shotgun, but it does have, you know, the kind of spray and pray element to it, but it does a little bit more over the range than the FO shotgun that Ella has. And then scrolling down, looking at the rest of the shotguns in this list, I think there's only maybe a case for one of these shotguns being in B tier, and that could be Kavira's shotgun. This one could be anywhere in this tier, to be completely honest, but let's be honest, for the most part, all of these are around a similar level, other than the Bostri, as I said, which could be anywhere on this list. It's hard to rank. Moving from B tier then up into A tier, let's have a look at which weapons are narrowly missing out on the S tier. The first one has to be the Italy 12 large shotgun. This is obviously the bigger version of the secondary option that comes on Jackal and Mira. Again, on Jackal and Mira, you're not really going to be wanting to use this as your primary option. Now that I've said that, I do believe it is available on Solace, but once again, you're using the P90, you shouldn't be using this thing. So this one is definitely going at the bottom end of A tier, and then moving up through the A tier, I think maybe the Supernova actually deserves a B tier as well. And in fact, maybe this one comes up. Maybe we swap those over. But as for the rest of A tier, as I was saying, I think we have to leave some of these for S tier. I think maybe the Spaz 12 has to go in A tier, and then finally the M1014. Now these two, again, are semi-auto shotguns, so they do have a little bit less damage and not as good of a range, but they are more spray and pray kind of weapons. They are just different to use. And once again, it kind of comes down to which one you prefer, which operators they're available on. Obviously on Valkyrie, you're not really going to want to be using this. You're going to want to be using the MPX. And then on operators like Thermite, why are you even using a shotgun? But that leaves these four weapons here, which are easily my top 4 shotguns in Rainbow Six Siege right now. Now, narrowly missing out on the top 3, I think I have to go for the Supernova. Now, the reason for that is because it was in the meta not that long ago, and Ubisoft ended up nerfing it a little bit. Now, it is still very strong. So obviously a pump action shotgun does a lot of damage, still has that one shot potential, but there was a point in time where this thing had a ridiculous range and you could one hit people from like 20 meters. It was kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of good that it's been nerfed from that point, because I don't see as many people using it nowadays, which leaves obviously the fan favorite 3 shotguns, in my personal opinion. Now, going in third place has to be Jaeger's shotgun, because I think a lot of people don't realize how good this is. It's a pump action shotgun, but it has like the fire rate of close to some of these semi-auto shotguns, not the FO12. That one is ridiculous, but it is a pump action, which means it has that little bit more range, a little bit more damage, and obviously in the right hands, you can pop off with this thing. I have seen clips of people literally getting like 4Ks, 3Ks in the span of literal seconds. This thing is actually kind of underrated. If you haven't used this in a while, try use it on Jaeger or something, because I know Jaeger's AR has been nerfed into the ground over the years, and this is a great alternative. Now, moving on into second place then, I think it has to be this shotgun here. I believe it's called the SCQB or whatever the hell it's called. It's the one that's on Doc and Rook and those kind of operators, and it is a solid option. It kind of reminds me of what the old Supernova was, except it's not quite as good as it once was. But this shotgun, once again, has one of the best ranges in the whole game. If you try sniping people with this, you'll easily get 1 to 2 hit kills. And again, it has a pretty decent pump speed, it has a decent fire rate, but that leaves the M10 shotgun in first place. The reason why this is in first place is because it is a great option for the operators that it is on, and then on top of that, it also has similar ranges and damage outputs to the likes of the SCQB, or whichever way around that is, and the Supernova, but it comes equipped on the likes of Smoke and Mute, who have the option of having the SMG-12 as a secondary, which in combination makes the shotgun even better on those operators, because you can still engage in those long range gunfights with a fully automatic weapon while still having this thing in your back pocket to create rotates, hold close angles and engage in those short range gunfights 10 times easier. Now with that being said, I know every single one of these weapon ranking videos is met with a lot of criticism, so let me know where you disagree. Do I deserve to be locked up in the whack shack? Let me know down in the comment section below. But on screen now you'll see a video where I rank some more weapons which feature in Rainbow Six Siege. So if you want to see that, click that video. Thank you guys for watching this far, I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.